High Arbiter Torek rose, his 4 eyes cold. He issued an ultimatum in the ancient tongue of his people.
The High Arbiter requests that Earth reconsider its position and withdraw from contested territories at once.
That's not what he said. He said withdraw or be destroyed.
Catherine, tell them Earth does not negotiate under threat. If they cross our borders, we will respond with full force. Exact words.
They will be horrified. But that is the job. Earth will not withdraw. If you cross our border, you will be met with absolute force. This is not a bluff. This is a promise.
The alien delegation went still, not a whisper. They stared at her as if she had declared war.
What is the meaning of this? We were told your kind values diplomacy.
That was diplomacy. The truth.
The chamber erupted. Accusations flew. But Catherine did not move from her podium. She had translated it word for word.
You dare insult us with threats. Explain this breach of protocol immediately.
We gave no threat. We stated a fact. Earth does not bluff. Your translator softened your own words, not ours.
Vash cringed behind the High Arbiter, her tablet pressed to her chest.
I softened the High Arbiter's message. It is our way. We do not speak threats directly.
A cold silence fell. The human delegation exchanged glances. They had never known.
Enough. We will recess. This summit will not continue until we understand what has happened here.
They've been hiding behind politeness for centuries. No wonder we never understood each other.
The alien delegates rose, murmuring in confusion. Their diplomatic foundation had just cracked, and in the center, Catherine remained still, waiting. She had spoken the truth, and the truth had shaken an empire. In the corridor, a group of alien translators surrounded Catherine. Vash led them, trembling.
Why did you do that? Our role is to soften, not repeat threats.
My role is accuracy. To alter a speaker's words is to lie. Softening threats does not prevent war. It only ensures both sides misread each other.
But we have always done this. Our whole civilization rests on polite diplomacy.
Vash's voice cracked. She looked at Catherine as if seeing a new and terrifying sun. At the corridor's end, Torek watched in silence. His 4 eyes narrowed, but he didn't step forward.
They fear truth because their world is built on gauze. But gauze burns when the fire comes.
The alien translators backed away, shaken. Vash lingered a moment longer, then followed, her gaze downcast. Catherine stood alone, breathing quietly. The recess clock was ticking. She was ready to translate again. In a private chamber, Torek summoned Catherine and Nathan. A hologram of Earth's fleet floated between them.
If you do not surrender, your world will cease to exist. Translate that.
If you do not surrender, your world will cease to exist.
Nathan's jaw tightened, but he had asked her for exact words. He remained silent.
You repeated it exactly. Not a shade of softening.
For the first time in centuries, Torek heard his own words without the veil of politeness. It unnerved him.
This summit will resume, but under a new rule. All messages will be translated word for word. No softening.
He understands finally, but understanding is not yet acceptance.
Nathan exhaled slowly. Catherine simply nodded once. The job was not over, but it had changed.
They will resist. Truth is heavier than they know, but the words are what they are.
The summit reconvened under colder light. Delegates took their seats wearing a new, unspoken weight.
From this moment, every word will be translated exactly as spoken. No softening, let there be no misunderstanding between us.
This is an insult to our culture. Diplomacy requires grace, not blunt force. You dishonor our ancestors.
The alien delegation stirred with disbelief, but Torek's 4 eyes silenced them with cold finality. Catherine placed her hands on the console. Nathan leaned forward toward the microphone.
Earth will defend its territory absolutely. Any incursion will be met with overwhelming force.
The words hung in the air. Some delegates shrank from the weight of fact.
You cannot trust this human. She twists nothing because she serves her masters blindly.
Blindness is the word. They have been blind to meaning for centuries.
The summit balanced on a blade. Catherine's voice was now the edge. An elderly border delegate rose from the alien assembly, his voice worn by years of holding the frontier. Catherine leaned forward as he finished.
We assumed your threats were bluffs like ours. We never heard words intended as fact.
The alien delegation shifted. They had just confessed a fragile diplomatic illusion that had lasted generations.
We built our entire foreign policy on softened words. We never knew what you meant. You said you would retaliate. We thought it was posture. We were wrong.
Nathan's hands gripped the table. Earth's dangerous reputation was merely honesty misread as aggression.
All this time, they thought we were bluffing. They had no concept of a clear warning.
Torek's 4 eyes flickered rapidly. The arch of his civilization was bending under the weight of clarity.
They are not liars. They are sleepwalkers. And the truth is the alarm they've dreaded.
The summit paused, breath held. Catherine waited. The translator turned prophet of the plainest scripture. Zul slammed his fist on the table. The sound cracked through the silence like a blade.
High Arbiter, you have been seduced by human lies. This summit is a farce. I reclaim authority for the military.
Armed guards loyal to Zul slid from the shadows along the walls, their weapons half raised.
He thinks this is about loyalty. It is about whether words have edges.
You have no authority here, Commander. This summit proceeds under my rule.
The human spoke truth. For the first time, we heard what was meant. Do not silence her.
The chamber erupted. Delegates scrambled backward. Guards advanced. Yet Catherine never moved.
They have lived so long in gauze they cannot breathe the real air. This is not violence. This is truth.
Then you choose war, Arbiter. And you, human, you will be the first to suffer for your insolence.
Torek's 4 eyes locked onto Zul. The chamber listened, suspended on a single thread.
An unauthorized channel. Zul is feeding the fleet a softened version of these proceedings. High Arbiter, Commander Zul is transmitting falsified words to your fleet. He is twisting our translations into aggression.
Block that transmission. Deactivate his command codes immediately.
Catherine's fingers flew across the console. She jammed the external feed with a burst of static.
Commander Zul, by your own actions you have forfeited the honor of your rank. Guards, take him into custody.
You have no right. This is a trick of the humans. I will not be silenced.
The ceremonial guards moved quickly. They pinned Zul's arms. His cybernetic eye flickered erratically. 2 other officers were seized at their stations, their access codes revoked.
The rot was cut out before it spread. Now the talking can begin.
The chamber fell silent. The coup had failed. Torek's rule was absolute. The summit would continue. The summit resumed under a colder, brighter light. Torek rose, his voice carrying the weight of centuries.
I order a complete audit of every translation in our archives, going back to the founding. Let us see how deeply we have been deceived.
The alien delegates stirred, whispers rising like a storm. The historians among them blanched, their faces ashen.
The audit begins now. No record will remain unexamined. We will know the truth.
Catherine read the full disclosure. Every detail. No censoring. No omissions.
Earth's defense fleet stands at 12,000 warships, each equipped with Singularity-class payloads. Our orbital grid can absorb a direct assault from any known armada.
The numbers echoed in the silent chamber. Several delegates paled visibly, the catastrophic scale of their miscalculation dawning.
We never saw this. We never even looked. Our own system blinded us.
Not a threat, just a mirror. They are finally looking into it, and they see themselves.
The summit had crossed a threshold. There could be no return to the old silence. Every word from now on would carry the weight of undeniable fact. The archive audit delivered its first finding within the hour. A treaty with the Eridan hegemony, signed 12 centuries ago.
Every translation of the Eridan Treaty contains the same softened line, "We shall honor the peace." But the original text reads, We shall honor the peace unless provoked.
The Eridans were destroyed because they thought we had pledged unconditional peace. They never armed. We killed them with a mistranslation.
The hall grew colder. The Eridan genocide, taught to every schoolchild as a just war, had been a catastrophic era of softened words.
This tradition has murdered an entire species. It ends now. We will translate with absolute fidelity, whatever the cost.
I knew we blurred edges, but I never imagined. I am sorry.
Centuries of blood, all because they could not bear to say what they meant.
Delegates bowed their heads. Some wept openly. The summit was no longer a negotiation. It was a confession.
Let this chamber become a place of truth. Every treaty from this day will be word for word, as the human does.
Catherine stood still, but her eyes held something new. A recognition that this time they might actually change. When the session ended, Vash found Catherine in the quiet corridor. The young alien's eyes were red, but her voice was steady.
Teach me. How do you do it? No softening, no evasion, just truth.
It is not a skill. It is a discipline. You must be willing to let the words be what they are. She will be one of the first, or she will break. But she asked, so I will answer.
I will learn, whatever it takes.
When the summit reconvened, the alien delegation spoke with unfamiliar bluntness. Their proposals carried no hidden clauses.
This is the first honest offer we have received from any power. We accept the withdrawal, but we will verify every step.
For the first time, I hear possibility. Not through gauze, but through glass, but through glass.
They are learning that peace is a language, and it must be spoken plainly.
The foundation had been laid, not in diplomacy, but in the unadorned word, and both sides sat at the table, ready to build. The negotiations turned on every word. Catherine's voice was the chisel, stripping excess.
Earth requires absolute sovereignty over its territories. No external inspection. This is not negotiable.
Our resource reports were inflated for centuries. We cannot sustain our fleet without trade concessions.
There was no euphemism. For the first time, the talks moved with terrible speed. Nathan leaned forward. His voice was low, but it carried the weight of a civilization choosing transparency.
We do not need an empire. We need borders that are recognized and respected.
Then we give you that recognition, in writing. That is our offer.
They are building from raw stone, not polished lies. This might actually hold.
By the end of the second hour, a framework existed. The draft was bare, but it was honest. Both delegations looked at the document not with triumph, but with a surprising tentative relief. A provincial leader from the outer systems rose, his voice brittle with old privilege. He denounced the draft as a human conquest by pen.
You speak for a district, not the empire. This draft reflects truth, not territorial theft. I overrule your objection.
Earth will not renegotiate a single line. We either honor this draft or we walk away.
They're clinging to old shadows. If they can't bear the light now, there was never a chance.
The chamber dissolved into shouting. The fragile consensus crumbled like burned paper.
If either side cannot accept the truth, then peace is already impossible. This draft is the only honest mirror you have.
Silence crashed back, every gaze fixed on the human woman who would not bend.
The human is right. This draft proceeds. All provincial vetoes are nullified. We will sign what is written.
Now they will own their words. For the first time, they will have to.
The summit held. The draft was safe. But the final words still waited to be sealed. For 6 hours they refined, not debated. Catherine's voice was the needle, stitching meaning into the draft without ornament.
Article 4, no military presence in the neutral corridor. Article 5, mutual inspections are reciprocal and without exception.
Nathan's shirt was creased, his eyes raw. He didn't relent. The alien delegates across the table looked equally hollowed.
Every word a lock. If one fails, the whole binding phrase.
At last, the final draft coalesced on the central hologram. 37 clauses, no ornament, no escape.
I have translated every line. The text matches in both languages without deviation. There is no softening.
Then it's finished. Read it back to us, Catherine. Let us hear what peace sounds like.
One last time. Human, let your voice be the measure. We will listen.
She began at the preamble, her tone as even as stone. The words resonated in the stillness, nothing concealed. When she finished, Torek and Nathan exchanged a slow nod. Not friendship, but the grim respect of equals. The day of signing arrived. The summit hall swelled with delegates, journalists, and observers from a dozen worlds. Every transmission relay was open to the galaxy. The alien galleries were silent. This was their first broadcast of an unsoftened declaration in living memory. Many held their breath.
There will be no translation error today, only the words as they are. That is all I have ever offered.
Catherine tapped the live feed. Her voice would now be heard in every capital on both sides. The treaty preamble appeared on the central hologram, both languages line-matched without deviation. No ambiguity.
The Treaty of the Neutral Corridor between the Terran Confederacy and the Valtime Sovereignty.
Torek's 4 eyes did not blink as the human voice filled the chamber. He stood as if carved from the same stone. In the alien galleries, some delegates bowed their heads. Others wept silently, their shoulders shaking.
They are finally hearing what was said, not what was feared. This is not victory. This is survival.
She continued through every clause. Not a word softened, and the galaxy listened, for the first time, to a piece written in honest ink. The styluses met the surface. Torek and Nathan signed simultaneously, their names sealing the first honest treaty ever witnessed.
This treaty is a translation of survival. The human translator proved that only unsoftened words build peace.
He speaks of me as if I did something extraordinary. I only did the job.
Earth sought to be understood. Catherine Park made that possible. She is the most honest voice in the galaxy.
Not a title I wanted, but if it keeps the peace, I'll wear it.
The hall did not cheer. It gave a deep, resonant applause. The sound of a century of silence, breaking. Catherine remained still, her expression unchanged. Yet her hand rested on the console as if on a finished manuscript.
It holds. The words hold.
The treaty was law. For the first time in galactic history, both sides heard exactly what was promised. The human translator, who refused to soften a single edge, had, with her fidelity, built a bridge of unbreakable glass. As the summit hall emptied, delegates from 3 other species approached the human delegation with urgent, almost reverent requests. Each carried a formal petition for Catherine Park to serve as neutral translator for pending treaties with their species. Vash, standing among them, translated each petition with careful precision, her eyes on Catherine.
Catherine, Earth's government has officially designated you as the standard bearer for all future interspecies translation. It's your choice, but they want you.
I will do it. It's the job, word for word.
News of her appointment spread through the galaxy's communication networks, carried by the same unsoftened truth she had defended. The same aliens who had once recoiled from her bluntness now sought her badge of clarity. Piece by piece, the galaxy began to learn that peace is built not on pretty words, but on words you can trust. And in the center of that transformation stood a human woman who had simply refused to soften the threat. The treaty held. No hidden clauses emerged. An interstellar agreement proved as solid as its words. Galactic news feeds called her the woman who spoke the truth and changed the stars. Her image repeated endlessly, but Catherine was not watching. She sat by her window, staring at the stars that had almost become battlegrounds. A passerby recorded her leaving a nondescript government building. Camera flashes bounced off her impassive face.
They want a symbol. I am not a symbol. I translate.
She placed the glass down and checked her schedule. Another negotiation in 2 days, with a species known for duplicity.
They will learn. Words are not velvet. They are walls.
She ordered tea from the canteen machine, ignoring the holo ad that used her face without permission. The galaxy shouted her name. She just did the job. When morning came, she walked into a new summit hall. ready to translate word for word. Months after the treaty, a secure channel chimed in her quarters. Torik's face materialized, 4 eyes older but calm.
Translator Park. Our people now train their own literal translators. Yet many still request your name in every negotiation. You saved my civilization from the lies we wove. Thank you.
Catherine listened, her expression unchanged, a remote terminal receiving a signal.
He thanks me for speaking plainly. That is the only way I know.
The call ended. She stood by the window, looking into the starfield that now held a fragile peace, and for one unguarded moment, her eyes softened, a glimmer of the weight she carried finally showing. Then she turned. On her desk, a new briefing awaited, a negotiation with a species notorious for euphemism.
They will try to smother truth in velvet. I will not let them.
She began her preparation, her voice already testing the words that would build another bridge. The transport ship glided through the nebula's edge, its engines a low hum in the stillness. Catherine reviewed the agenda on her console, her eyes tracing the alien script, already parsing the hidden traps. Below, the twin suns of the new world gleamed against the docking ring, illuminating the crystalline summit hall beyond.
Another species, another wall of polite deceit. But the hammer of truth is the same.
The ship docked with a soft thud. Catherine rose, straightening her uniform with practiced precision. She walked the curved corridor of the station, passing alien officials who nodded in hushed recognition. The new summit hall loomed ahead, a crystalline dome catching both suns, its vast entrance open. At the entrance, Catherine paused only to adjust her console strap, a silent ritual before the storm of words.
No fanfare, no speeches, just the words.
Then she stepped through the archway, into the light, ready to translate word for word. Inside the crystalline hall, delegates from a dozen species lined the tiers. Catherine walked the central aisle with a pace that had become ritual. She took her place at the translator's podium. The familiar weight of the console settled under her palms. The chief delegate of the Wythe sovereignty rose. His words rasped in his ancient tongue. Catherine's console, lit with the unpolished text.
The sovereignty of Earth requests that territorial claims be settled without armed conflict. We seek only the recognition of our borders. Every syllable must match. No softening. The truth is the only bridge.
The hall fell into the rhythm of her voice. The delegates listened, not to the music of diplomacy, but to the weight of fact. On her console, the raw text scrolled in 2 languages, each line a lock. She read it as it was. Her lips formed each syllable with a precision that had bent empires. She was a small figure in a vast chamber, but her voice carried the finality of an unsoftened promise. She translates everything, word for word. It's the job. On her console, the raw alien text appeared, each character a demand for precision, each line a test of her discipline. Her lips shaped each word with the exactness of a seal on a treaty, a rhythm born of 1,000 negotiations. In her eyes, the holograms danced, 2 languages, one immutable meaning, reflecting a will that would not bend. The chamber stretched vast around her, but she remained the fixed point, the translator who had bent empires. Decades of habit. No fanfare, no compromise, just the steady cadence of unvarnished fact. The galaxy would learn that peace is built not on velvet, but on the unyielding clarity of a human voice, and that its most faithful servant was a woman who refused to soften a single syllable. The words continued, line after line, a bridge of unbreakable glass. She translates everything word for word. It's the job.